Imagine this scene. The room is quiet, the lights are low, everything starts out fine. But a few minutes later, something changes. Your body responds at first, but the firmness fades away. Not because the desire is gone, not because you don't want it, but as if something inside just switches off. If you've lived through this, or you're living it right now, stay with me until the end. Because today, I'm going to show you the real reason behind weak erections that don't last, and why almost no one talks about it the right way. Erectile dysfunction doesn't usually start the way most people imagine. It rarely shows up as a sudden, "it doesn't work anymore." Most of the time, it begins like this. The erection appears, but it loses firmness quickly. Or it doesn't hold during intimacy, or it fails at the exact moment when confidence should be at its peak. And this doesn't just affect the body, it affects your mind, it affects your self-esteem, it affects the silence afterward, it affects how a man sees himself. Many men start avoiding intimacy, they make excuses, they pretend they're tired. Others live in constant anxiety, afraid it will happen again. And the worst part, many believe this is just normal with age, or that it's all psychological, when in reality, the body is sending a very clear warning. Over time, this starts to change daily life. Some men avoid trips, dates, or intimate moments because they fear repeating the same frustration. Others pull away emotionally without even realizing it, not because they don't care, but as a form of self-protection. There's a heavy silence after a failed attempt, a silence no one talks about, but everyone feels. And soon, the mind starts anticipating the problem before the body even has a chance to respond. That cycle slowly erodes confidence. And the less confidence there is, the more tension builds for the next attempt. Let me ask you something, honestly. Have you noticed that the desire is still there, but your body doesn't keep up? Have you felt your confidence shrink with each frustrating experience? Have you wondered why it used to feel automatic, and now it feels forced, tense, and stressful? These questions aren't random. They point directly to the root of the problem. As a doctor, I see this every single day in my office. Men of different ages, backgrounds, and lifestyles, all describing the same thing. "Doctor, it starts, but it doesn't last." And to explain this simply, imagine an old garden hose. When you turn on the tap, the water comes out strong at first. But along the hose, there are tiny, invisible cracks. The pressure drops, water leaks out, and the flow can't be sustained. The problem isn't the tap, it's the condition of the hose itself. An erection works through a simple but precise mechanism: blood inflow and blood retention. Blood flows into the erectile chambers of the penis, the arteries dilate, and small vascular valves need to close properly to keep that blood trapped inside. When this system is healthy, firmness is maintained naturally. But when the vascular endothelium, the inner lining of the arteries, becomes inflamed, stiff, or poorly nourished, exactly what we described in the hose analogy happens. Blood flows in, but it isn't retained effectively. I see many men come into my office feeling confused. One patient in particular stayed with me. He was in his early 40s, hormone levels completely normal, desire intact, stable relationship. He told me, "Doctor, my mind wants it, but my body can't hold it." When we looked beyond testosterone, something quiet but significant appeared: loss of vascular elasticity. Blood could enter, but it wouldn't stay. And this surprises many men, because no one teaches that erections depend less on force and much more on retention. The brain sends the signal correctly. The desire is there, but the physical system meant to sustain that response is weakened. It's like trying to maintain pressure in an old garden hose. The water flows, but it doesn't stay consistent. Nitric oxide, a molecule essential for vessel dilation and sustained blood flow, starts being produced in lower amounts. The vessel walls lose elasticity. The vascular valves fail to seal properly. The result: the erection starts, but it doesn't last. It's not a lack of desire. It's not a lack of stimulation. It's a vascular retention failure. If this content is making sense to you and helping you better understand your body, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. Here, I talk about men's health in a serious, safe, and evidence-based way, as if we were having a calm conversation in a medical office. At this point, many men think, so I need something fast. And that's where the most common solutions come in: pharmacy medications, teas, miracle pills, and the well-known blue pill. The problem is that all of these work by artificially increasing pressure. They force the system to function for a few hours without fixing the structural leak. It's like increasing water pressure in a cracked hose. It works briefly, but it accelerates wear over time. The issue with these stopgap solutions isn't only physical, it's psychological. Many men begin to believe they can only function with external help. That creates emotional dependence and fear of trying without it. Biologically, the body enters a compensation mode. It stops adapting because it's being artificially pushed. Over time, the effect weakens, the dose needs to increase, and frustration grows, not because the body failed, but because the foundation was never rebuilt. These methods don't restore arterial elasticity. They don't regenerate the endothelium. They don't improve the health of the vascular valves. That's why the effect fades, and the frustration comes back, often stronger than before. Now, let me ask you to think about something. What if your body isn't asking for medication, but for reconstruction? When we talk about reconstruction, we're talking about giving the body the right nutrients so it can restore vascular function from the inside out. There are nutritional compounds that directly support nitric oxide production, improve arterial elasticity, and strengthen endothelial health. A well-formulated supplement doesn't act as a short-term stimulant. It works as structural support, helping the body return to what it has always known how to do, but with greater efficiency. That's why it becomes the most practical, coherent path for those who want to address the cause, not just the symptom. Here's an important medical warning. Vascular health is progressive. It's either improving or it's getting worse. It doesn't stay frozen in time. The vascular endothelium responds to daily conditions. Chronic stress, poor sleep, inflammatory diets, and physical inactivity accelerate this wear. Every day without care isn't neutral. It's a small step backward. The stiffer the arteries become, the harder it is to fully restore function later on. That's why acting early isn't overreaction. It's respect for your body's physiology. The longer the endothelium remains inflamed and rigid, the greater the risk of permanent structural damage. Acting now isn't anxiety, it's physiological intelligence. Men who take care of their vascular foundation often notice something interesting. It's not just erections that improve. Daily energy increases, mood stabilizes, confidence returns, sleep improves, anxiety decreases, because when blood flow improves, the entire body responds, and over time, intimacy stops being a source of fear and becomes natural again. If you want to better understand how this nutritional support protocol works for vascular health, the official website explains everything clearly. It's important to understand that endothelial tissue renewal typically takes around 120 days, according to scientific literature. That's why nutritional approaches are usually designed for the medium term, often between 3 to 5 months. This does not replace individualized medical follow-up, but it can be an important support within a responsible physiological approach. The link to the official website is here in the video description, and if you're hesitant to purchase this type of supplement out of embarrassment or concern about privacy, let me reassure you, the delivery is completely discreet. Neutral packaging, no product identification, no revealing information, professional and secure. I want you to remember one thing. Taking care of your erectile function isn't vanity, it's health. It's self-care. It's respect for your body and your future. When you understand what's happening inside your body, fear loses its grip. Anxiety eases, and decisions stop being impulsive. Many men were taught to endure everything in silence, to keep pushing forward even when the body is asking for attention. But maturity isn't ignoring signals, it's listening to them before they become irreversible. When you understand that this issue doesn't define who you are, but rather what your body needs, something shifts inside. Guilt fades, shame loosens its hold, and confidence begins to rebuild step by step. Information restores control, and control restores dignity. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.